when I got clean, I kind of transferred all that energy over to food and fitness. Now I was eating more naturally and I was training and that was fine. It sort of leveled itself out. But then the food kind of took over. I was finding another way to, consume excessively. So I thought to myself, well, my numbers are off, my blood work is off, and I'm gaining weight. I don't want that. So what I'll do is I'll just train more. And that, my friends, started the vicious cycle of binging at night and then shame training in the morning. Trying to out-train a bad diet. I was getting nowhere fast, and actually I was getting somewhere. I was getting to burnout. And in my 40s, maybe the burnouts were a little bit more, less common. But in my 50s, the burnouts caught up a lot more. So I had to sit down and look at the nutrition. Eating less, moderation, obviously, which was never my forte. I'd also took a look at fasting. Now, to me, eating less in itself was scary. I definitely had a food deprivation factor when it came to things I couldn't eat that panicked me, and obviously fear of missing out on meals and activities and all this stuff that we are told that brings us joy apparently. So eventually when I sat down with this, I started to play with it a little bit. I started to test baby steps, obviously, and I found out that it wasn't so bad. Moderation can be applied. It's actually very beneficial, and so is fasting. So I entered challenges that involved a fasting component, and I enjoyed it, and I got better at it. So what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is not so much the eating less part, but the buying less. And I know that to this day, when it's time for me to hit the grocery store, I still get a little bit of that anxiety. So I'd like to offer some tips on what I use to help me with that. So the first one would be to map out my nutrition for the week. I basically write everything down that I need to buy, and when I go to the store, I buy the things I need, and it sort of keeps my inner child from reaching for everything that he wants. The second thing that I notice I do is I compare my carts to other people's carts, and I think my cart is like half full, and these people's carts are like overflowing. So I try to remind myself, unfortunately, that we live in a world where people usually overconsume and they tend to buy more than they need. So I remind myself that my list and my cart are good enough. And the third and final thing would be that if ever I do buy a little bit too little at the end of the week, midweek, I can go to any store and just top off anything I might be running low on. So I try not to worry about buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars and filling up my fridge and my freezers. I think that if I don't buy it, it's not at home, it helps me not eat it. So I hope that helps.